So what's going on, boss buddies? I hope you're all having a fantastic weekend. Now, one question that I do get asked quite a lot, especially on my Instagram, is top recommendations for a signature scent. So I thought it'd be a good idea to put together a top 10 list of signature scents. So I'm gonna be back with my top 10 in just a second. So welcome back and welcome to Luxury Fragrance Boss channel. My name is Scott. So let's get on to my top 10 signature scents. Now, first of all, let's cover about what a signature scent is. First of all, a signature scent is something that we're gonna be thought of, or that's something that smell connects with us. So it's something that we probably wear on a fairly regular basis. Me, myself, I don't really have a signature scent right now. I have a couple of favorites that I normally go for if I'm going out in the evening or wearing a second scent. But as most of you will know, I do wear a different scent every day. So it's quite hard for me to have a signature scent at the moment, but I have had them in the past. So let's get on into my top 10 now. First of all, I want to give an honorable mention, or say that this is a top 10 alternatives to Creed Aventus, because you're not really gonna, I don't want to really put Creed Aventus in here. It's a very obvious choice for a signature scent, but I mean, it does epitomize exactly sort of what we're looking for in a signature scent, in the fact that it's quite a powerful fragrance. It's something that's quite classy, and it's also something that's very, very memorable as well. So that's exactly what we're looking for in a signature scent. So first of all, just to cover the Creed Aventus, my top 10 will not include this scent. So let's move on. Now, the first one I'm going to pick is what used to be my signature scent. This is a beautiful, fresh scent. One that I really do love, and one that I did wear for quite a long time. This is the one that my wife still sort of remembers and thinks of me as of when we met. It still reminds her of exactly when we met. And that one is not actually Interlude, which is what I got married in, but it's this one right here, another Creed, and that's Green Irish Tweed. Now, this one is just a beautiful sort of soapy, fresh fragrance. I don't wear it so much anymore. I mean, I still do enjoy this fragrance, and strangely enough, although I've not worn this probably for about, I want to say for probably about 3 months, something like that, still this one lingers on my seatbelt in my car. Every morning when I go to put on my seatbelt, I pull it across and I can still smell remnants of this. Now, bearing in mind, I do wear some very strong fragrances, and I do wear a different fragrance every day, and this one still manages to work its way through, everything else that gets on my seatbelt. Funny story about Green Irish Tweed as well. When I had my first bottle was actually a tester bottle that was given to me by the company that I work for. And I traveled to Vegas for a conference, and I had it in my bag, and it actually leaked everywhere in my bag. I think it was about a third, it was the smaller bottle of the 75ml at the time. But yeah, about a third of it had leaked all in my bag. My bag, it was my gym bag that I was carrying there, using as a holder, and 2 years later I could still smell Irish Tweed in my gym bag. So I mean, it's definitely a lingering fragrance, and it's a long-lasting one, and it's Creed, so I mean, you can't really fault the quality when it comes to Creed or the classiness of their fragrances. So in number 10 we've got Green Irish Tweed. Now, moving on to something a little bit more rugged. This one was based on the Marlboro Man, in the fact that they wanted to sort of think of the scent of what the Marlboro Man would wear. So this one, I don't know whether you know, is actually Santal 33 by Labo. That's what it was modeled on. And this one is just it's a beautiful sandalwood scent, but it's got some sort of dirty or grittiness to it, which makes it very, 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 very unique. And it's just I think it's a wonderful signature scent because it is a very memorable, it's a very strong scent. This almost made it onto my beast mode list. So I mean, this one definitely deserves to be up there in signature fragrances, or signature scents, should we say. But yeah, this one, if you think of, like I say, I mean, my best comparison is if you've ever smelt Sacred Wood by Killian, which is a very, very clean, like sandalwood smell, even like the Aqua de Palma's Sandalo. They're sort of very, very clean, tiny bit of citrus in there, so to make it a little bit lighter, but very, very clean smelling wood fragrances, sandalwood fragrances. Well, this one's very, very dirty. So this one, definitely a great signature scent, very, very unique, and a wonderful scent overall. So in number 9, we've got Santal 33. So moving on to number 8. Now, just before I do number 8, I just want to apologise if you can hear any sort of like sort of noises like this or some snorting. It's my best friend's Boston Terrier wandering around in the as I'm shooting my video, so you may hear some sort of like that, because that's the kind of little noises he likes to make. I had stopped filming it a little while ago because he came running in making a lot of noise with one of his toys. So, but I don't want to lock him out in the hallway because he didn't seem to want to go out there when I tried to kick him out. So he's definitely just wandering around the house, look like he owns the place. So excuse any sort of background noise. Hopefully the microphone won't pick it up. So moving into number 8. Now it's hard for me to choose from the fragrances that I've got what sort of order they should go into. So I'm going to go in, I mean, these are no particular order, they're just sort of 10 recommendations that I've got as signature scents just because of their power and stuff like that. So with number 8, I'm going to go with Molecule 01 by Escentric Molecules. This one's definitely a compliment grabber. I wore this to the office the first time I wore it, and within minutes somebody stopped by my office to ask me what I was wearing. This one again is a nice sort of clean smelling fragrance. This is built just on one molecule or one ingredient, should we say, which is Iso Super E, which is usually used to boost other ingredients and the smell of them. But this one would take on a different characteristic depending on that person. So this one can smell very different. There's some people as well that will not smell this one, but it can be smelt on them. I smell this one very, very strongly. 04, I struggle to smell at all. But yeah, 01, definitely a very, very good scent for me. My wife actually wore this one not that long ago. She couldn't smell it at all, but I could smell it on her very, very strongly. So she was kind of mesmerized by the fact that I could smell it really strongly on her. In fact, I could smell it even in a different room. This one has got a lot of projection on it. And this one's in sort of the lower price brackets as well. I think this is $135, that's US, for the 100ml bottle, so which is a fantastic price for such an amazing, incredible scent. But yeah, I mean, this definitely one that's you're gonna have to sort of try out. So I definitely recommend sort of getting a sample. I mean, all of these are worth getting samples of. I recommend getting samples of anything before buying a full bottle. But yeah, I mean, you can pick up, I think for $20, you can pick up samples of the whole collection of this. I know on Lucky Scent they do them. But yeah, this one's definitely worth trying because just to see if you like it on yourself or not. So, and just to see if you can smell it. I like to smell my own scents. So for me, this is good one. This is a good one because I can smell it on myself. But if, like I say, for 04, my wife could smell it a little bit on me. I couldn't smell it at all. That's not really what I'm looking for. I want something that I can enjoy all day long as well. So in number 8, we've got Molecule 01. Now, moving into number 7, oh, what should I pick? I'm going to go with a less expensive alternative to Aventus. Now, those of you out there sort of are big fans of Aventus or sort of what they call Aventus clones or anything like that, will see the likeness in this one. And they may have seen it as an alternative before as well. And that's Mancera's Cedrat Boise. This one here, when you first smell it, my first impression of it was, oh, this one just wants to be another Aventus. However, one thing I found is over time, this one does smell like Aventus straight out of the bottle. But after sort of a half an hour, something like that, it takes on quite a different smell. I actually prefer this one to Aventus. I think it's got a little bit more character, a little bit more uniqueness. It's not one that you're going to smell as often as Creed Aventus, especially here in the Cayman Islands where every other person wears Aventus. It's the top selling men's fragrance here, believe it or not. So it's between that, Bleu de Chanel and Sauvage. I mean, we've pretty much got like the whole of the men covered in the Cayman Islands to what they wear. So, but yeah, Cedrat Boise, very, very beautiful fragrance. I mean, all of these that I'm going to go through as well, I would never recommend anything that doesn't have sort of great longevity and great projection. So all of these top 10, all going to be fantastic performers. This one's going to vary a tiny bit. Now I find, and most people do find, I mean, it can vary a tiny bit from batch to batch with the Aventus, that it's got huge projection and huge longevity. For me, this one I didn't find quite as massive in the projection. Longevity was very good, but like I say, I did slightly prefer the smell of this one compared to Aventus. And I think that's because Aventus has been overdone in the area that I live in anyway. So in number 7, we've got Cedrat Boise by Mancera. So moving into my number 6. Now number 6, I had to choose from a line, one of my new favourite lines, not Nasomatto for a change. I'm going to actually mention Memo. Now Memo, I sniffed out quite a few of their fragrances when I was in Osme Perfumery back in Miami, and that was beginning of October. And I picked out a few of them. I've worn a lot of them. I wore African, I wore Irish, French, sorry, not French, Russian. I can't think of the other one. I think it was Italian leather. I'm sure I wore one more as well. But yeah, I mean, this company just knows how to make a beautiful leather fragrance. The one that to me fits best though as a signature fragrance or a signature scent would have to be Irish leather. I think it's a lot more. I think it's a lot more accommodating to a lot more sort of different occasions. African leather I think is definitely the best. However, it's not something that I would wear every day or to sort of any kind of occasion or just like on an everyday basis. This one I would though. The Irish leather definitely definitely deserves to be worn sort of a lot. I think it's a much more wearable fragrance on an everyday basis or any time of year, any day or night. So the best way of describing this one is this is green Irish tweed. So it's green Irish tweed, but with leather notes thrown into it, which makes it very, very unique. I mean, green Irish tweed has got some sort of similar sort of designer fragrances around it. Obviously Cool Water being one of them, but there's a couple of others and there's a couple of sort of clones out there that smell quite similar to green Irish tweed. With the Irish leather, I think it's a bit more unique with that leather note in it, and it's still very, very fresh. So, which definitely makes it perfect, as I said, for an everyday or every occasion fragrance. Definitely going to be quite memorable as well because it is fresh with that leathery note in. So like I say, very, very unique, very, very memorable. So in number, I think that was number 6. So in number 6, we've got Memo's Irish Leather. So moving into my top 5. Now these top 5 are absolute killer scents. With number 5, I'm gonna go with Andy Towers L'air du Desert Moroccan. Now this one, to me, if you've seen my full review of this one I would best explain as, or best describe as, bottled 5-star Egyptian resort air. That's the best way I can describe it. Just the smells that you get off of the desert on an amazing, you're in a 5-star resort, and like you're out on the balcony, sort of that early part of the evening, like just as the sun's setting, the beautiful sort of spices and things like that you get coming off from like local markets and things like that, and like maybe like the herbs and spices that they use in the restaurant. Everything sort of blended together with that warm sort of desert air smell. That's the smell that you're going to get with this one. Just absolutely stunning and definitely signature scent worthy smell. I mean, this is one that I definitely want to add into my collection very soon. I'm not sure exactly when I'm going to do that because I do have quite a long list of scents I do want to add to my collection. Obviously nowadays I'm quite careful with sort of adding too many because I don't get to wear them a lot myself, my own personal collection, because I'm testing out different fragrances every day, so I can do reviews and stuff like that, so I can let you guys know about whether I think things are worth the money or not. But this one, definitely signature scent worthy, definitely belongs on my list of signature scents, definitely deserves to be in the top 5 as well. I actually got a little bit of this on my nose earlier and I still keep smelling it very, very strongly. But yeah, this one I really did love when I wore it. Quite strong fragrance again, and fantastic longevity. So in number 5, we've got L'air du Desert Moroccan by Andy Tower. Now getting into the top 4 now. Oh, which one do I pick next? I'm gonna go with one that maybe wouldn't suit everybody. To me, I think this is a fantastic fragrance for summer or winter, definitely sort of every day. And I think quite a few of you will agree with me as well. And that's Baccarat Rouge 540, and that's the Eau de Parfum. With the extrait, I think I personally prefer the extrait. It's a little bit sweeter, it's a little bit softer, but it's definitely more of an evening scent. With the Eau de Parfum, I think it's definitely, it's definitely signature scent worthy. It's a very strong fragrance, definitely one that's going to grab you compliments. But this one, again, like I say, is perfect for any day, any evening, any kind of event. I've worn this to work, I've worn this to sort of different events. I wore it to brunch last week. But yeah, I mean, this one, and the longevity of this one is absolutely insane. You're talking sort of, I think you could probably get 48 hours out of this one, even if you didn't wash or anything like that. So I think this would still sort of overpower anything out there. So this one, very, very strong fragrance, but yeah, very, very beautiful. It's on the sweeter side of things. So I mean, that's why I'd say it's probably not for everybody as a signature scent. To me, I quite like a sweeter fragrance every now and then. I mean, that's not one that I would wear on an everyday basis, but I would wear that quite often, and I do wear that to a lot of occasions, and it's definitely very memorable. It's very, very well, it's a very big compliment getter as well. In fact, when I was wearing it one evening for an event, I had one woman who just wouldn't leave me alone. She kept hovering around because she just kept wanting to smell it. So it is a very, very beautiful fragrance. So in number 4, we got Baccarat's Rouge 540, and that's the Eau de Parfum version. Now, moving into the top 3, the top 3 is very, very hard to pick from. The one I'm going to put in number 3 though is going to be Boise the Victorious, and it's Imperial. This to me is just a scent of, I mean, it's a very classy, sort of powerful smelling scent. I mean, so if you're looking for a signature scent for the office or something like that, this is definitely going to be one to check out. This really is a very, very sort of stunning, and like I say, it's a very, very powerful smelling scent. What I mean by this is it just reeks class. So if that's the sort of look that you're going for, and it's definitely sort of, it's going to be very, very at home if you're wearing a suit and tie. But it's a very great everyday fragrance as well. This is definitely one that I would feel comfortable wearing with jeans and a white t-shirt, going out for dinner or going out for the evening for something glamorous. It's going to fit at home with every single one of these. And it's not a mind-blowingly powerful fragrance, but fantastic longevity, and it has got quite some good projection on it as well. So Boise the Victorious Imperial, definitely worth checking out. Would be absolutely incredible. If you're wearing a suit and tie every day, I'd say this is definitely one that if you want to smell classy on a day-to-day basis, definitely check this one out. So that's in number 3. Now, number 2, I'm going to go to the House of Nasomatto. As I mentioned earlier, is one of my favorite houses. I recently bought this one here, Black Afghano. That's not the one that I'm going to stick in my signature fragrances though. It's one that I have asked for though from my wife for Christmas, so I'm hoping that will arrive just after Christmas when my friend gets back from the UK. Because it's much cheaper to buy it in the UK. So if you're in the UK and you complain about prices of fragrances, please don't, because in the US we pay I want to say around sort of 10 to 25, even up to sort of 30–40% more. I mean, like the Baccarat Rouge that I mentioned, that's the same price in fact it's a lot less in pounds than it is in dollars. I think I've seen it for, I think it was 165 pounds I've seen it for online in England, but this is one that costs around $300, so please don't complain. Same with Nasomatto as well. They're 185 in the States, but they're 124, I think 124 pounds or 125 pounds in the UK, so I'm going to save my money and I'm going to buy some stuff from there. I've ordered a couple of fragrances as well from the UK, so fragrances, very, very good pricing in the UK at the moment, even with the especially with the weakness of the pound. So if you can order from the UK, definitely do that. But yeah, moving back into my number 2 spot, the House of Nasomatto, and the one I'm talking about is Baraonda. This one I've absolutely fallen in love with. I am a whiskey lover, and that's exactly what you're going to get with this fragrance. It is single malt, sort of 30–40-year-old whiskey. I mean, that's what you're going to get sort of immediately when you smell this one. When you first spray this on, it's a very, very boozy fragrance. This was, I think I put this as my number 1 in, no, I got a feeling it was Killian that I put number 1 in my top 5 boozy fragrances, but this one came a very, very close number 2. This one I think is just absolutely stunning. Comparing it to sort of Killian single malt, this one absolutely kicks its ass. That's probably the one you're going to heard of more, Killian's one, but to me, the single malt by Killian, I found it to be quite weak. I could barely sort of smell it at all. It was much more of a skin scent. This one, as with all Nasomattos, I mean, as well as being sort of absolutely intoxicating and mesmerizing, when you put them on your skin, for the first couple of hours, they smell quite nice, and then they just grow in power, and they just grab you, and they just keep pulling you in, and they just keep mesmerizing you, and they're just absolutely hypnotic. Baraonda does exactly the same. Black Afghano does it. Pardon does it. Pardon's a little bit weaker, and Absinthe did it to me as well. So I mean, they've all got a very, very sort of strong sort of holding effect on me. So yeah, this is why this is in sort of Nasomatto has become one of my new favourite houses. I just love their fragrances and just love the way that they made their fragrances. So this one is an extrait, so don't expect a big bottle for that 180. You're going to get 30 ml. As I said, it's an extrait, but you don't need to use quite as much. So that's the size and the shape of the bottle there. But yeah, Nasomatto Baraonda, if you are a whiskey fan, this is definitely one you need to check out. I think this is the best whiskey smelling fragrance out there. And like I say, it just smells like a classy whiskey fragrance. It does come down, the whiskey notes do come down a tiny bit, but I find they take on sort of, it's bizarre, it seems to switch to kind of a little bit of a rummy, like a rummy whiskey smell, sort of after the first sort of 3 or 4 hours. But I do find that this one does change a little bit throughout the day. But yeah, it's just absolutely stunning. It just gets growing, it grows and grows in power. So absolutely stunning fragrance. Nasomatto's Baraonda is in number 2. Right, so what have I picked for my top number 1 fragrance when it comes to signature scents? This is one that comes from a house that I discovered just over a year ago. Well, I discovered the house a lot longer than that ago. But I found this fragrance after testing a few of them. I found this one when I was in San Francisco in October 2017, and I just absolutely fell in love with this one. This is another absolute powerful beast. This has appeared in quite a few of my top 5s. And it absolutely deserves to be a signature scent worthy fragrance as well. And the one I'm talking about is Halfeti from Penhaligons. This one, as I said, just absolute beast mode when it comes to projection. This is an I've personally found that this is an absolute compliment grabber for me as well. People stop me like from the, I've had people asking me what I'm wearing from the other side of the street. It's that powerful. So all you got to be is downwind or upwind of somebody, and they will smell this fragrance. This is the one. This is even the signature scent of Penhaligons. This is the one that they sort of pump out on the streets from their boutiques and stuff like that. Well, indefinitely in England anyway. But this one, when I smelled this one, I sprayed it on my wrist. I absolutely fell in love with it. Unfortunately, I went back to the boutique in San Francisco to go and purchase it, and because they only had 1 bottle left, by the time I got back, after sort of giving it 20 minutes to sort of really sort of test it on my wrist, they'd sold that bottle, so I had to go without it on that trip. But then, as I said, prices in the UK, because this is a UK brand, prices on Penhaligons are very, very good in the UK, much, much better than what we get in the States. So definitely worth checking out, and like I say, if you can get this one in the UK, definitely order it from there. Especially if you're coming through duty free, because it's like I think it's 131 pounds or something like that in Heathrow duty free, compared to $210 US in the States, and that's obviously before tax. So, but if you can get it for a fantastic price, this is definitely very signature scent worthy. Definitely one of my favourite fragrances in my top 10 as well. And like I say, it's an absolute powerhouse. So I hope you enjoyed my top 10. Please let me know what your signature fragrance is. Let me know what you would pick as a sort of a top 3 or a top 5 if you had to choose from your line. I'd love to hear, so please like, comment and subscribe. If you're not subscribed to the channel yet, please do so right there. Also, don't forget to hit that notification button as well. That way you'll never miss a video. I'm uploading videos pretty regularly. I've not been able to do so over this past week. The reason for that is because looking after a dog. Also, I had my wife's parents here last weekend, so I've been very sort of struggling for time. Also, over the past week as well, it's Christmas season. I work for the largest retailer in the largest independent retailer in the Caribbean, so we are very, very busy this time of year. So I do come home absolutely exhausted. So I've not always got the energy to shoot a video, but I'm doing my best. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram as well. You can find me at Luxury Fragrance Boss. That way you can keep up to date with my scent of the day, any reviews that I've got coming up, any YouTube videos that are coming out, anything like that. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed the top 10, as I said. I look forward to seeing you very, very soon in my next video. Stay smelling fantastic, and I'll see you in my next video very, very soon. Thank you very much for watching.